So I'm just going to go over. There was two folks that had questions on this, and I want to put this in a session that just kind of explains the Kurmi integration with ASH3, and the reason we're doing it the way I explained in the video on how to do a quick create demo. We're having another session here. I don't know if I sent it to all of you guys, but I'll release another video in probably early next week on Kurmi demos that should pretty much enable everybody to be able to, on ASH3 right now, be able to conduct demos for customers. It'll cover quick create services, AD integration, local users, ad hoc reporting, and a few other things. But it's important to kind of get this foundational thing done and understand it. So real quick, let me share my screen here. And there it goes. All right. Okay, I just want to review the spreadsheet real quick. So anybody watching this video is going to do a Kurmi demo should have an account that's been given to them. If you don't, you need to email Mike Haig or myself, Anson Garcia, and let us get you some accounts. So these are the main accounts, the accounts that we imported into ASH3. There's a spreadsheet we keep on a SharePoint site, soon to become Google Drive, and they're just a bunch of accounts. We imported them when we ordered ASH3. We just imported, I don't know how many users was it, Jessica? Let me see, 965, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70. 970 users were imported. Okay, and that's just like 1,000. A customer. Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah. So when we ordered it, we just came up with a spreadsheet and said, hey, what are all the names going to be? What are their DIDs? And we're going to attach the names to the DID. And here's the name. Like here's Red, Verizon, first name, Red892, last name. There's their login name right here, and there's the DID assigned. So very customer-like. Customer gives us, we give the customer a spreadsheet. We tell them, hey, give me all your users and attach them to DNs that we ordered, 1,000 DNs, and go ahead and attach them to DNs. So this is how it kind of rolled. Now we have this Kurmi thing that's come in after the fact on ASH3, and the course that we chose to take is let's take some of these accounts. Instead of importing more and ordering more accounts, we're just going to take a couple of them. And if you're a user on this system already, or if you've been assigned capabilities for demo, you're going to get assigned a couple of these users. For example, let me go find mine here. And I'll search for Anson. And here is Anson right here. So if we look right here, this is a user, Verizon Red 927, and that user is assigned to me. And I put Kurmi in here just because that kind of signifies to us in the spreadsheet that this is a Kurmi demo account. Now, what does that mean? I'll show you here in a second. The important thing is the name. Let's just say this name right here. This is their login name, and the DN. They're kind of connected together. They're connected together because when we, as the customer, we imported these into AD. So these are all our employees. And these employees inside AD have their telephone attribute inside AD populated with this number. Now, why do we do that? It's because in Jabber or on a phone, if you go to the directory, if you or start typing in Jabber somebody's name, you're searching the Active Directory. That's what it searches by default. And when you search the Active Directory, if you want to click to call somebody, they have to have a telephone number attribute assigned to them in Active Directory, and that's the number that Jabber will call if you click to call. Okay, so that's kind of just the way most enterprises are. You know, they have everything in Active Directory, and they have some HR system. You update your telephone number or whatever, just like us, and you go in there and put your number in, whatever. Some people don't do it this way. Some people search the local call managers, you know, to get this number. One way to do it, you know, but the way we chose to do it is everything kind of ties back to Active Directory. So when we want to create a user, if I were assigned this particular guy right here and I needed to create a user in Kurmi to do a demo on Quick Create or something like that, what I would do is I would head over to Kurmi. I would log in, obviously, go to my substitution and go into ASH3 Customer. And the first thing I did here is I went into Active Directory. Okay, so Active Directory, this is pulling from Active Directory inside Kurmi. So we're looking at ASH3 Kurmi, and you see Verizon Red 927. Okay, that's the user I'm assigned right there, 927. So if I'm going to do any demos with this thing like Quick Create, it's already there. So I have to delete it. Remember, when we first did ASH3, we imported all the users. They're already there. So it's up to you to recognize this is my user that was assigned to me. I need to go delete it if I'm going to create it because it's already created. So in this instance, I'll just click there, and hopefully this all works. And I'm going to delete this user, Verizon Red 927. Now, let me make sure here. Let me just pause the video shortly. I'm going to pause. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you can go to directories and look at the Verizon 927. I just created a filter here. That's there. Okay, we're going to leave this one there for now. Okay, don't delete this one. I've made this mistake before. What we're going to do, remember in a prior session I told you there's two databases here in Kurmi. One that comes from Active Directory, and then one that actually is created from Active Directory. Okay, this is the one that we're looking at that comes from Active Directory. The one that's created from Active Directory is the Kurmi user one. So I just got a filter here, 927. So this is where you need to search. If Verizon 927, my account, exists here, I need to delete it because I'm going to run a demo that's going to create it. So let's go ahead and click the X there to delete that, and hopefully everything deletes okay. We're going to do immediate, yes, yes, confirm. And did I click that? Yep, there we go. Hopefully this all works out. So right now it's taking all the information from Verizon 927 and going out to each one of the, call manager, Unity, CUPS, and deleting that user. If all goes well, you'll have this kind of ignore that one for now, but this is what you're looking for. Okay, so that's the deleted one. Now, obviously, if we search for 927, which we just did because it does another search, and there's no 927. Okay, just to drive home the point on the Active Directory, if I go to directories and go to Active Directory, there is still Verizon 927 there. I can't delete this one because it exists in Active Directory. Okay, it's coming from Active Directory. If you delete this one, bad juju happens because you're deleting this, but you really can't delete from Active Directory. So I would think that it would stop me here and say, you can't delete this, but it allowed me to delete it somehow. And then it kind of, the next time Kurmi synced with Active Directory, it came over again. And when I tried to quick create and things like that didn't work, everything kind of blew up on me, and I had to kind of think through what the heck I did. So in Active Directory, under the Active Directory, don't mess with this one because these are getting populated from Active Directory every 24 hours. They're coming over. It doesn't go the other way. So if I delete it here, it's not going to delete it in Active Directory. Okay, so Kurmi user 927. Now, if I wanted to quick create, I could quick create here. Just the one thing, remember, I want you to remember that number right there, 5556. That's my number. Okay, so if I wanted to quick create, and I haven't done this in a while, so hopefully I do it right here. Quick create. If I quick create here, and this is just a little error that we got going on. Next version takes care of this little pin number. But let me just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That doesn't look right, does it? Yeah, I guess it is. What I'm doing here, if I quick create here, I'm going to create a local user. And what I mean by local user, I'm not pulling from Active Directory. So if I do this, right, I can first, we should already know that we're going to put in Ashburn K. Say, okay, that's in the other training. Okay, and then it's going to complain about my pin. This is a bug in Kurmi that's fixed in the next version. We're running one release back from what's in production right now. And you can take care of that by doing incognito or a private session. I just didn't do that here. So I want to pick my ASH K. That's going to work this time. No, it doesn't work. Okay, let me try this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see if that works now. Alrighty. Well, more than one way to skin a cat. And all right, let's go to substitution. Remember, we have to substitute our login as the admin for ASH3. Here we are. We're going to quick create. And here I'm going to choose Ashburn K. And then I can do my login, all this stuff I go over on the training. Okay, I won't do it here, but I'll just say I go over this on the Kurmi Quick Create training, and I'll just refer you to that. And it's going to be on my channel. It'll be part of. I'm going to put it somewhere later on in the space that we created for this ASH3 cluster. So I'll put the playlist in there. It's an unlisted playlist because we don't want anyone else looking at it, but it'll be in there. So again, I'm creating a local user here. So I can give it any name. Of course, the name has to be vzucast.com. And the important thing here is the number. Okay, so the number that I pick over here when I do this internal number, and I get a number. No, not automatically. I don't want that. I pick a number, and remember mine was 5556. There it is. Okay, because it became available when I deleted the user a second ago. So I want to use the number that's assigned to me for Verizon Red 927. The reason being, if you don't use it, it's going to work anyway. but it's just better to do it that way, because if for any reason somebody's searching in Jabber to call somebody, they're going to search, and remember it's using LDAP to search. So you don't want overlapping numbers and things like that. You don't want them to look up Verizon 927 and to call some other local user or something like that. Anyway, things can get, cross-threaded there, so to speak. So just try to use your number that is assigned to you and the account that you're using, and you'll have multiple of these, so you can have 3 or 4 and do with them what you want. Just use yours. Create local users, whatever. Okay? So that's that. Now, what's the other way to do it? The other way to do it, which I didn't go over the training last time, is if you want to bring in, this would be the typical way. This is not what they wanted to do at Enterprise Connect, and that's why I didn't do it this way in the training prior to this. But really, you want to create an Active Directory user. Let me say that right. Really, you want to pull in an Active Directory user that already exists in Active Directory and make them a UCAS user or Kurmi user, however you want to say that. So here I could filter, and remember, in Active Directory, obviously 927 is still going to exist. There's Verizon Red 927. Then you see right here, I have to create. That means I can create it. And I think what I want to do is click that and quick create here. Now all I'm doing now is, I don't want to click that. I'm going to talk to you about this here in a second. Let's just go back for now. I want to do this. I want to click on the user and then quick create. Okay, I'll explain that other one in a second. Now, here's almost the same screen. Other than the login name and password, I can't do that because we're Active Directory. We're bringing it in from Active Directory, and Kurmi knows, oh, you're bringing this user from Active Directory. Obviously, it's going to authenticate with Active Directory. You don't need a username here, a login name, and a password, because that's already taken care of. So now we can go through and pick our package and pick our option. Let's do no here. And I'm not going to create a desk phone. And then I'm going to do my little magic. This one right here. Yeah, and I'm going to pick 556 or 5556. And then I don't think I need anything there. Oh, I already did that. I don't like the way it kind of goes up all the time, so it kind of mixes you up. Alternate number. I won't go over any of that stuff. That's going to be in the group training here that we're releasing in a few weeks. Boom, boom, boom. Let's create a Jabber. That's fine. I don't think I need anything over here. Okay. And let's see if we're good there. All right, let's apply. Okay, again, it's creating call manager user, Unity voicemail. I don't know if I checked the Unity voicemail box, but a CUPS user because I did Jabber there. It's kind of creating all those things in the background. And there we go. We have a green, successfully created. Now, what we've done, just to drive the point home, remember 927 was not in the Kurmi user database. Now we can go over here, and if we filter and we look for last name here, 927, voila, there it is. So you see how we kind of pulled it from one database into the other database. Although both databases exist in Kurmi, the one that's syncing in Active Directory and the Kurmi users themselves, we still have to pull from the Active Directory sync database into the Kurmi user for Kurmi to actually be a user that can use Jabber or whatever. Okay, and now we could go to a machine, and log in that user. Okay, is that fairly clear, guys? Does that make a little bit of does that make good sense?
Makes perfect sense. Sorry, I just joined. Hey, I'm late.
Yeah. Awesome. So there was just some confusion on that. And again, when I told you guys this a couple of weeks ago, when I try to explain that to marketing and product and Derek and Steve, and Bob, they were like, what? It does not compute. So that's why I went the other route. Said, okay, here's a couple of accounts. Just create local users and be done with it. And we'll let those guys fly that way. But you guys and anyone close to ASH3 needs to recognize that these things are different. And again, if you go in directories and do like I was just about to do and delete Verizon 927 from there, things don't work. They don't work at all. I forget exactly what errors I came up with, but it just blew up on me. I mean, the whole account blew up on me. So just be careful not to do that. I think it was like the next day it actually worked, and I was like, what happened overnight? Well, there's sync processes overnight, so that kind of drew me to the conclusion I did something wrong, and it was obviously I'm not expert at Kurmi, and after asking the guys, they said, oh yeah, don't delete from there. Go to the Kurmi user and delete, because there's actually two databases that are in Kurmi. Okay.
Hey, Anson, not that I'm adding a ton of value, but I need to drop, so I will talk to you all later.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jessica.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Anson, question then on the two databases that Kurmi holds here. So Active Directory database is the one you said every 24 hours, right, is pulling from the user set up an Active Directory.
Yeah, don't quote me on that. I'm pulling from my CUCM knowledge that it syncs over to CUCM. I don't know the timetable here, but
okay,
it's reasonable to assume that
whatever the sync agreement is, do they ever automatically get created as Kurmi users, or does that always have to be a process?
It's always a process. So, yeah,
okay.
the only thing it's going to do when doing something like that. Oh my God, I had a little error here. Yeah, so the only time, AD, again, I don't know the time period, but in Kurmi over here, I'm just going to draw two little databases. Don't draw databases very, very well, but and then we'll name that one Kurmi, and this is Kurmi app. This one's just going to there. Okay, and if I want to create a user that's going to use a phone or anything, I got to pull it from there to over here.
Gotcha.
Your question was, does this ever automatically happen? I have to say yes, and I don't understand I don't understand how. I wish I could explain it, but let me take you through that process I'm thinking of here. If I go look at the Kurmi users, and I take off that filter, I can see all these users that were created. Look at all these. Okay, all these
Yep.
users were created. I didn't create those.
Yeah.
When we integrated, when the Kurmi guys connected to the call manager, one of my asks was, hey, this is an existing call manager, existing UCAS. I want you to pull in, all those users. So somehow that happened. I can't explain how, but somehow that happened. So to answer your question, it's possible.
Gotcha.
Yes. How to do it, I don't know. And just to circle back, I did do something weird here. Remember on when you do quick create, if you choose, let's see, if I go to directories and Active Directory, and this may go to your question as well. If I just, I'm going to choose this one. If I choose that, it immediately thinks I'm in bulk create mode. For example, I just checked that. If I go over here to quick create, you see this table? Remember that table I was telling you a little while ago? This table, in fact, I'll make it'll make more sense if I choose to. Let's do to create. Let's do this one, and how about that one? Okay, and then I go to quick create. You can see this red highlight here. Let me get my out of the way. This red highlight means what I'm doing up here is for this guy. Okay, what I'm doing up here is for this guy. So it's almost like a templatized, and then I can choose, and there are CSVs you can do here, and I don't know how to do that, but this is the bulk create. And then these are hard to remember.
There's a checkbox above for mass modify.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not right there.
Oh yeah,
right
here.
Above. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I haven't done this yet, so I'm very reluctant to say something I don't know. I do know that these right here, I can.
But under
I can't explain it. I want to say, was this one? Oh yeah, this one means load what's in this one up in here. Okay, so if I click this one, I'm loading what's in this line. This line creates all the phone stuff. So you can continue. You can see the scroll bar is kind of off my screen right there. See, that's all the stuff for that user. It just goes across instead of down.
So this looks to me, Anson, like the ability to modify multiple users at once, but I don't consider that the bulk management like the bat file type thing, right? Because under the left-hand side in the column, there's a bulk management where there's templates and Excel files or CSVs, right?
Man,
if you go on the left, see the left
menu,
the left column,
yeah.
there's a whole bulk management section there with a bunch of templates to upload.
You know more about it than me. I haven't even played with this. The only thing that I've done is notice it's different, and then I asked the Kurmi guys, why is this different? And they said, oh, that's the bulk, manage mode, and you can see that you're telling the system, I want to bulk create, quick create. Oh, okay, and that's about as far as the conversation went.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you could pick 5 users and create them all at once. That makes sense. I mean, but then I think there's also like bulk management. If you have a spreadsheet pre-populated, you can upload that.
Right, and it's in here apparently because I did talk to them. The conversation went a little further where I said, oh, this is where you would do like a BAT or a CSV, and they said yes. Okay.
You do it right here and not in that left-hand side where bulk management is?
That's when I asked the question, they said, yes, this is here where you do it. So what that means, I don't know. But what I wanted to differentiate is just make sure that if you do that, even one, and you quick create, it thinks you're in bulk mode, okay, as opposed to, or in contrast to, if I do this, click on the name, quick create, I don't have the table down here, and I have all this stuff, within one sheet, I guess, instead of along the bottom. And okay, so that's the way that works. Okay, I think that's it. I'm going to pause the recording because I think that's about all I wanted to cover.